Why, hello there. It's Thursday. I was about to say Friday. We're not there yet. No, it's only Thursday. It's Thursday, April 28th, 2022. Let's talk NBA playoffs. This is going to be an NBA only video. I'm going to start separating the videos on days when you need to have a discussion about one sport. So we'll talk about basketball because I actually watched some. I say, NBA is not my game, and then I don't really care all that much. And then I start watching it, realize there's a storyline, and it's kind of fun watching people try to sink 3-pointers late in the game, especially when you have money on it. And so there you go. I'm back into NBA. And yesterday, I'll tell you, it doesn't hurt that the algorithm's pretty darn good. So yesterday, it wins both games on the margin right here. It thinks, and these teams are going to win, that they won. So Milwaukee and Golden State win. But the only bet that I made on the day was I took Denver plus 8.5 points. Because I saw this game was so close. And just, when teams are fighting for their season and playoffs, they're going to try to at least make this game close, right? And sure enough, I think I got the score right here. They only lost by 4. And this was easy money because these lines were ridiculous. So in this sense, the algorithm helped out. It would not have helped out specifically for that situation with Milwaukee yesterday because it did not think that the Bucks were going to cover 12 points. Thought the Bulls would make it closer. But it got the score correctly, exactly right for Milwaukee. Anyway, the Bulls just didn't score enough. It said they were going to score 111. They only got to 100, but they had injuries. And so what this made me think of was here in today's video is to discuss the injury pivot and how to read it and how that applies to today's games. Because this number matters. It means who's playing and who's not playing, and how much of a contribution the people who are not playing or who are out with injuries, what kind of deduction it reduces their health by is what this is showing. So let's discuss that for today. Given that the algorithm works pretty darn well, nothing's perfect, but it works pretty darn well. So today's games, I updated lines last night. This is, okay. I tried updating the injury report here early this morning, like 9 a.m. It's not updated different at all, I believe, from yesterday. Now, that may be because that nobody's injured, but it also might be that we don't have good information on an injury report yet. So going to RotoWire and downloading the injury report and putting it in the injury sheet is something that you should do if you want this thing to be correct, or just paying attention if you know who's hurt or you watch an injury report. The injury report's right here. We could look at just the teams that are showing, or I really haven't done too much work on this file, unfortunately. But once you put the injury report in here and you refresh this injury pivot here, you get the teams and types of injuries, and you can start to open up the teams to see who's hurting and what kind of contribution they have. Now, looking at today's games, we have tried and true Phoenix here, supposed to win. They have a 21% margin. The algorithm is extremely easy to read in a scenario like this. Even though Phoenix is away, they have such a huge margin that any reasonable line, as long as they don't have a ton of injuries, is very acceptable pick. So Phoenix minus 126 is obviously the pick of the day because none of these other games have margins that are even remotely close to that. It says they're a very good team and that they're just probably, I guess they're going to put away the Pelicans tonight. I don't know what the series is at, but it might be in that situation. So even on the road, it thinks that they will do it. Anything can happen, but there you go. That's the pick of the day for NBA. What else do we have? We have a Utah Jazz that for some reason is hurting more than Dallas in terms of health. They would be a favorite, and they would win this game by 7% margin, 113 to 109, we think, except somebody's hurt, which makes it important about reviewing this injury pivot. So we're talking about the Jazz. All right, let's go Jazz. Because of all the Jazz in Utah, I love the stories behind these names. Like they used to be the New Orleans Jazz, right? Or the they moved to Utah after Just like LA Lakers, right? There's no lakes in LA. Like, how does this happen? It used to be the Minnesota Lakers, right? Yeah, awesome stuff. Okay, anyway, let's talk about I'm old and I love old team names. I should do a video about old team names and where they've moved from with the Excel file, breaking it down, because that would be fun to look at and to read all the names and joke about them. Anyway, Donovan Mitchell is apparently a big-time player. What's wrong with Donovan? Let me show you something super annoying and how to fix it. So here's the deal with the injuries, and I really don't know why I did it this way. Technically, I could just move this somewhere else, but I'm not going to. All right, so there's a group here, and this group has to do with grouping all the injury names, and I just ungrouped it. I right-clicked it and I ungrouped it. Creating groups supposedly allows you to shrink things that are supposed to be the same group. So if you go to group here, right click, it creates this new group in a hierarchy above here. And we can say, this is injury type is what we're doing. And the reason why I group it is because I want to be able to just shrink it so that it's not expanding out to the right every time a new injury type shows up. And I want this formula to be more dynamic here. Sorry, static. I want it to be more static. I don't want to have to change this formula every day if a new injury pops up to the right somewhere. Well, I haven't fully solved that problem, but that's how you fix the problem with the injury. Now that we just did that, Donovan, where'd you go, Donovan? There's a couple ways we could check this out. Now it's going to expand up way off to the right again, but whatever. He's got an injury right here. Quadricep calf, is it? Quads. Quads seems playable. It's not a hip. It's not a face. It's not something that you need. I don't know. Quads, I don't know what's going on there. I'm thinking, is he a game time decision? What does it say? There's many different ways to look through. Yeah, he is. Yeah, he going to play. This is the playoffs. You don't sit with a quad. So if you put him in the game and he plays okay, then Utah the Jazz, could potentially win this game, but it's not a pick that you really want to focus on and think that there's any certainty, a degree of certainty more than just 50-50 that would happen. Philly and Toronto, it does think the Sixers win this game away. The line's not all that bad. They're a little healthier than the Raptors. The margin's super low, though. I think this is an extremely low game. So once again, there isn't really anything other to pick in my mind other than Phoenix. And I think the only pick that I'm going to add to my round robin from NBA today is going to be Phoenix. I might throw Utah on another underdog for fun round robin with a very low risk that I don't plan on rooting for, thinking winners are supposed to win. But Phoenix is the pick of the day. So that's NBA. If you like this video, tell your friends to go, send links to it. Try to get these views up. I'm going to try to run a comparison between when I do a video about NBA, I do a video about NHL, I do a video about MLB. I want to see where the interest is in terms of betting, in terms of watching, in terms of analysis, because I don't know. I don't know. I don't know the answer to that question. I think baseball is supposed to be more, more what's going to happen this summer, but I think that NBA is actually probably the biggest draw of all the sports that I probably do, except for football. Football is obviously number one, but number two I think is NBA, and so I just want to do a sample and kind of test that out as I do videos about different sports. All right, guys. Good luck, everybody. May all these picks be winning, but especially Phoenix, because that's what the algorithm says is the pick of the day.